For over a decade, I have been posting videos encouraging people to get outdoors and enjoy the world around them. I think a lot of people's minds immediately jump to images like this, though, and thoughts of punishing hours of walking up steep inclines to get to epic mountaintop vistas such as this. In reality, though, I just want to see people being active and getting outside and enjoying a bit of fresh air and the sights and sounds, scenery, and history around them. Take somewhere like this, for example, the wonderful River Dee cutting its way through the absolutely beautiful Llangollen. This is an absolutely classic North Wales tourist hotspot that will attract tens of thousands of visitors a year, many of whom will park their cars somewhere and enjoy spending time just walking on the sensible, calm, flat tarmac paths by the riverside. Similarly, because the canal was devised to follow a very clever route that required very few locks for miles on end on the top end of the Llangollen Canal, it means that, of course, the towpath itself is very, very flat for many miles. And as they continually work to expand the amount of quality canal towpath surface, that leads to some excellent hours of walking on some very gentle paths. Are these locations always perfect? Not necessarily. Can the towpath get muddy? Of course. And do the tourist hotspots get extremely busy? Yes. However, how much more realistic, achievable, and encouraging is it to think of getting active and outdoors and enjoying places like these than being tricked into the demotivating effect of imagining going outdoors being all about epic hilltops and mountain climbing for hours on end? The following video clip of the frozen pond with the ducks and the geese and the derelict crumbling boathouse is one of my favourite sights from any winter walk that I've ever done. It's so peaceful, it's so rustic and rural looking, it's absolutely fantastic. And yet, believe it or not, this was filmed only a few minutes away from one of the busiest roads in the Wrexham region and not too far away from the city of Wrexham itself. Yet because people don't have the curiosity or the motivation to even walk around some of the places very local to them, you can feel like you're the last person on earth here. As a final thought, and maybe something to contemplate when we consider how easy we can make excuses and delay doing things until days become weeks, weeks become months, and then we decide, well, the moment's passed now, forget about it. During the summer months, in one of the small villages that I often pass through, I can often see a chap who has significant mobility issues, who still makes the point of getting out in the better weather conditions. And he may only be a few dozen feet away from his home even, but he goes out and there's something wonderful that I absolutely love. He does painting. So not only is he getting out into some fresh air and not being imprisoned by the walls around him and living his life looking at a screen, which so many of us are guilty of these days, but he's also doing something active out there that gives him an opportunity to speak to people and passers by, and people will stop and talk about what he's painting and just generally interact with the world in a direct, real way, despite the significant issues and challenges he must have faced in his life. I often think about this chap and think about my own actions and my own complaints. And I think I'm going to leave this video here with no additional words needed.